We are in studio. Chris Abel is with us, our very own Uncle Geek, and this week's segment is brought to you courtesy of Pet Prints 3D. They know your pet is one of a kind, and to confirm that is Ashley Saunders, the brand manager of Pet Prints 3D. And Chris is going to talk to you, but I want to know how you connected with this company, first of all.
Essentially I went to school for advertising, and then when I graduated, one of my professors was doing some work with Objects Unlimited, and they brought me in, and I loved animals and knew absolutely nothing about 3D printing, and Steve Corey said, "I believe in you, go ahead and do it," and now we have Pet Prints 3D.
That's awesome. We've been talking about your company, and it's such a unique service. It's a 3D printing Canadian company, and what they do is that you send them photographs of your pet, your dog or your cat, and they use it as reference material to create a computer model from which they print a photorealistic 3D model of your little dog, your cat. And what I want to ask you about is the reaction that you get from people when you talk about this service, because it's new, and especially for the average person out there, they may have heard of 3D printing in the news, but they may not know exactly what that is. You have the task of going to a lot of these trade shows. When you mention what it is you do, are you finding that people, are they aware of 3D printing? Do they understand it at first? What's the reaction like?
I think people are really excited about 3D printing because all they've really seen are, we 3D printed a car, or someone 3D printed a gun, but what we really do is we put a lot of artwork into the 3D printing that we do. And when people see the sign at trade shows that say, "We 3D print custom models of your pet," they rush over and go, "You're serious? You can do that?" But there is a bit of a disconnect, because a lot of people think you scan in a photo and click print, and that's not the case. There's a lot of, human artwork that goes into it, and time spent making sure every little detail is perfect.
Right. And when you say perfect, I mean, the reaction that I've gotten just from tweeting the photos of a lot of the prints and the pets that you've supplied is that people at first don't realize these are figurines, because it does kind of look, especially when you take a photo. I mean, I've had a lot of people look at it and go, that looks real. The usual giveaway is that I usually take a photograph next to something that's much larger. These are small little tiny figurines, and then people realize, oh no, that's not a life-size animal. So it's fantastic that you do get that level of detail, but you're going after very specific characteristics, the emotions of what people have with their pets. So when people do finally realize, oh, this is what you do, what is it about it that gets them excited? What are the features that they start to latch on?
I think it sort of depends on what type of animal it is and what the pose is. If the mouth is open, they all look at the smile, and they see their cute little dog's lopsided grin. Or if it's, if it's a cat and they have a little, mark under their eye, they get super excited just to see the amount of detail. Or if it's a Dalmatian.
Well, this is your cat, right, Kobe?
Yes, it is.
We're holding this up so people can see on
Kobe.
Kobe on the YouTube channel.
He has a really big, weird spot on his nose, and everyone thinks his name is Smudge just because he's got it. But no, he's Kobe, and it took about 40 pictures of him in every different position possible to kind of get the patterning down packed, but he's also one of our early models, so
right.
I'd be interested to see them redo it.
And Kobe, for our listeners, is a salt and pepper cat, mainly white with all these sort of gray patches, and what I like about the pose is that the ears are really perked up. So you've got Kobe, but you also have Kobe in curiosity mode, kind of, looking at you, a little friendly, and then the tail is extended out back. So when you're asking people not only to supply photographs, you're asking them to tell you stories about their cats and their dogs. What are the kinds of poses that people are looking for?
Some people come to us and they have absolutely no idea what they want. And other people are like, "Oh, my cat always lies on his back. Can you do that?" Or, "I've never ever seen my dog do downward dog, but I think it would be really cute." So some of the time we don't even get a photo of the animal in the pose, but we do get a series of other photos, and we can extrapolate and create any pose that they want.
And this, I think a lot of people have to understand, is this doesn't necessarily have to be a living animal. If there's an animal that a member of your family has had that was much loved pet from years gone by, and you have enough photographs, your artists can really bring out that distinct personality of the pet, right?
Yeah, I would say at least 50% of our clients so far have been pets who are no longer with us anymore, and the reaction when they open up their model is they cry because they haven't seen their pet in maybe it's recent. Usually it's a little bit longer because they have to get through the initial shock
Really?
of losing their pet.
And really, do people actually cry when they
Yes.
see this? So what's touched your heart most? What story has touched your heart?
It's kind of hard to say. I've never watched somebody cry, but the fact that they take 15 minutes to write me a half-page long email telling me about how much it meant to them and how much they cried, and when they gave it to their mother cried too because she hasn't seen the dog in 20 years. And
Yeah.
it's hard, but it's kind of the most beautiful part of my job is hearing what people think.
So you find that part rewarding?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
And last week we played an unboxing video that had been sent into your company. And what I liked about it was Sarah, the owner, getting really excited about things like the little pads on the paws. And what are the kind of details that get picked out that people really kind of latch on to?
I think we try to put a little bit of a twinkle into all the pets' eyes, to give them personality. Yes, it's a 3D printed sculpture, but it should have a personality because your pet had or has a personality.
Right. And I noticed that, like, if you go to the store and you buy little animal toys, the one thing that's very different that your company manages to capture on the dogs in particular are eyebrows. I find the eyebrows very expressive.
Yes, eyebrows are something that has taken a lot of work, but some of our designers have done some work on people as well, so they've been able to take what they've learned about doing people eyebrows and incorporate them into the animal models.
So when you're at a trade show, say like Pet Expo or something like that, and people come up and they see all the figurines, do they just say, hey, have you got a Labrador?
A lot of the time that's what happens. They're looking and then they'll look kind of disappointed and we're like, can we help you with something? And they're like, oh, you don't have a Rottweiler. And we're like, no, but we can make your Rottweiler.
So they think it's just a statue, like
Yeah.
any other statue. They don't realize that it could be their dog.
No, they don't. But then as soon as you kind of give them that, they want to have the conversation with you. They're like, oh my gosh, how is this possible? How do you do it? How can I get one?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's exciting.
So I have to ask, cats versus dogs. What are you finding the reaction most? Is it mainly dog owners that are reaching out to you, or is it cat owners? Is there a popularity here?
I would say we've probably done the most dogs, and I think that it's just based on the trade shows we've gone to have been pretty much dog-centric events. Mm-hmm. The majority of the staff in-house have cats, which, funny enough. So a lot of them have done their own cats, but we've had mostly paying dog clients, but at the Canadian Pet Expo we actually learned that reptiles are very desirable. Mm-hmm. So we started working on a Pac-Man frog, a Mexican orange-kneed tarantula, and some bearded dragons, because apparently reptile people are just as crazy as cat and dog lovers.
Oh, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see those models. They'll be really cool. And so tell me a little bit about the people behind the scenes who work there. You mentioned a lot of them have cats, of course. Obviously, they must be big animal lovers to sort of invest themselves into this.
Yeah, I would say everyone in-house is a huge animal lover. If they don't have a pet, it's not because they don't want one. It's because they just don't have the means to take care of one. And nobody wants to get a pet that they can't give all of their love and affection to. So every single person from the design stage all the way up to like packing it in a box to ship it to you takes amazing care of it. Because if it was our pet and our pet model got broken, we would all be absolutely devastated.
Chris broke his model of him.
The finger came off, which I have to tell you, picking your own finger up off the carpet is a bit of a surreal experience, but, that's fine.
What are some of the things that you've heard that people are doing with their pets? Other than, are they just enjoying them, or do you see little, pet travel documentaries from across the world?
A lot of people will either send us, links to their social media pages when they're sharing it. Some people will just send us testimonials with a photo of their pet on their desk. We got one of a guy who just basically took a picture of it, took a selfie of himself staring at his model on his desk, and he was like, I have your business card and this model on my desk, and everyone comes in and they're like, oh my God, that's your dog. And I think everybody else is just kind of putting it in a safe place, because a lot of them are late pets, and it's special to them. They don't want anything to happen.
Right.
Yeah. And in terms of taking care of these, it's best to, is this an ideal item to have as a bookshelf? I've suggested people take it to work for their cubicles. What is it that you think is the best recommended way of enjoying your little figurine?
You can display it anywhere you want to look at it. Just try not to get it wet, and if you knock it on the floor, it may break.
Okay.
So just somewhere, preferably not around your actual pet, because we've heard some stories of tails flying and models going right onto the floor.
Yeah, I mean, these are not, again, they're not life-size.
No.
But just watching that video that we saw last week, it was interesting how the dog Hero took such an interest. And I thought initially it was just because Sarah was showing such great excitement over opening up this box. But has there been a reaction with animals, living animals, live animals, to these little pet 3D printed representatives?
Yes, actually. At Canadian Pet Expo, we had one of our larger size models of Pickles, which is a bulldog. And we had it sitting on the edge of the table, and I would say probably over the whole weekend about 100 dogs put their 2 paws up on the table and came up to sniff the dog because they thought it was real.
Wow.
Because obviously the larger you get, the more detailed, and Pickles does look real.
Oh, that's amazing.
So what are the sizes? Because, I mean, here we've got a cat and a dog that are actually about the same size. So, I mean, roughly, I know they start at a minimum size.
Yeah, we do sort of minimum either 4 inches in height or 4.5 in length as our standard size, and then it would go up to, I guess, 6.5 in height, 7.5 in length, all the way up to about 10 or 12.
I think what the really neat thing though is once you've got a series of pictures and the artists have worked on it, you can get the pets posed in different positions. So you could get sort of 3 sort of sitting, standing, leaping, or
doing
something
the
else, doing the cha-cha, or whatever. It doesn't have to be, once it's been keyed in, they can be adjusted.
Yeah, once we have the initial geometry, it's really easy for the designers to go back in and manipulate them however you want to see them, which is...
Right. And make it not look cartoonish, which is what I've been
Yeah.
impressed with. With every figurine, regardless of the pose that you're doing, it's a very natural look to it. And clearly your artists are spending a lot of time learning how to do that just right.
So what do you want people to know about pet prints and about what these animals can bring to your life?
I want people to know that, it's real people that are working on their models and real people that are animal lovers, so we know that you care about your pet, and to that same extent, we care about giving you the best possible representation of your pet, because if you don't like it, not only have we not done our job, but the design team is devastated because they've poured their heart and soul into it to give you Kobe, or to give you Milton, and you have to love it. If you don't love it, send it back, because we'll redo it until you're 100% happy.
Yeah, I love that you've
That's awesome.
memorized the names of all the pets. That we've been snapping pictures of them. She knows them all.
I know.
I do. I'm the initial point of contact between the client and the company, so every pet we've done since I started in April, I know the names.
Yeah, and I think the real seal of quality is that with each of these pets, when I walk into the room, I get the sense that they're going, hi, and that it should be there, which is different from other sort of toys. It's like, I want that, hi, Chris, as soon as I walk in, and your figurines do that.
Like your actual dog would.
That's
came home.
Ashley Saunders, thank you very much. If you want to find out more, we have a blog from Ashley on our website, which is whatshesaid.radio.com, and also there is a link on that website. And if you're interested in getting one of your Pet Prints 3Ds, they have actually given us a 15% discount. All you have to do is put What She Said in. So we thank you for that, as do our listeners and our followers on social media.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.